Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing some performance comparisons with the dynamic surface navigation compared to the native UE navigation. There's going to be 4 test runs. The first one you see here, that's going to be the control. There is no navigation on here. There's no navigation, so the spiders down there are not moving. And this was just kind of get a baseline. The second test is going to be, which we'll get to, is going to be with just the native UE navigation set to dynamic runtime generation. And so with that dynamic runtime generation, as the platform moves around, it's going to update the navigation. And then the third test is going to be with the dynamic surface navigation, which is always dynamic, along with the native UE navigation set to static runtime generation. And the reason they both have to run is the dynamic surface navigation plugin, it is built on top of the native UE navigation. But by setting it to static, it's not going to update as things move around on screen. The fourth test is going to be with dynamic surface navigation plugin again, but this time with the native UE navigation set to dynamic runtime generation. And so what that means is both navigation systems are going to be updating as this platform moves around, which will be the most expensive, which you'll see here in a bit. So again, we're on the control, and you can see it's ranging from between 210, 220s, sometimes dipping below 210. So let's move on to the next test. Okay, so we're on the second test, and this one has just the native UE navigation with dynamic runtime generation. And so as you can see, the spiders, they're only navigating on the flat ground. They're not navigating up on the blocks at all. And that's because it's not using dynamic surface navigation. And so as you can see in the FPS, we're dipping down to like the 140s from time to time, sometimes 150s, and then going up to the almost 220 at times. And so what's happening is when the platform is moving, it's regenerating the navigation, and was causing that dip to happen. So between 140 and let's call it 220. And so let's move on to the third run. Okay, so here we are on the third run. This one is using the dynamic surface navigation plugin, and again, it's always dynamic. And the native UE navigation is set to static runtime generation. So the native UE navigation is not updating as this platform moves around, only the dynamic surface navigation. And so as you can see, some of the spiders every now and then will crawl up on the boxes if they happen to randomly, see there's one in the lower right going up on one, and so that's using the dynamic surface navigation. And so the FPS for this, as you can see, is going between I want to say 200 and 220-ish. So typically ranging from just under 210 somewhere to around 220. And so let's move on to the fourth and final test run. Okay, here we are at the fourth test run. Now this one, again, is the dynamic surface navigation, which spiders are using, along with the native UE navigation set to dynamic. So as this platform moves, both navigation systems are updating. And so, which is why this one is going to be the most expensive. And so, as you can see on the FPS, we're dipping down typically to around 130s, 140s, sometimes even just below 130, and getting all the way back up to around 220 again. So as when the platform moves, it creates that dip. Okay, so that is all of the test runs. Something to keep in mind is that the platform that was moving around was about 51 meters by 51 meters by 1 meter. That is a large asset to constantly update navigation, almost constantly update the navigation for. But I wanted to have something large that would have a large effect on the navigation, so you could see any performance hits bubble up. But hopefully after seeing that, you can see that the Dynamic Surface Navigation plugin does not add a huge performance hit. If you have any questions at all, you can ask them in the comments or hit me up on the Discord server and ask me anything about the plugin. I'll do my best to answer it. And thanks for watching, and I hope it was informative.